Hello, this is Gen Z Finance. I'm an older Gen Z on the cusp of being a young millennial who documents my financial journey on YouTube and Instagram. This video is an overview and demonstration on how to use my net worth and passive income tracker that I have for sale. If you're watching this video, you either stumbled upon me on YouTube, in which case, if you like what you see, you can use the link in the description box to purchase this for yourself, or you've already purchased this and you are using the link in the instructions and overview for some help to set up your spreadsheet. Either way, thank you for watching, and we're going to jump right into it. This workbook has 5 main sheets. It has the net worth monthly changes and tracker spreadsheet, the net worth dashboard, the miscellaneous and passive income tracker, the investing log, and then the investing matrix. I'm going to provide an overview for all of those as well as a demonstration for them all for how to set it up. The first page of this spreadsheet does have some instructions as well. So the bread and butter of this workbook is the net worth monthly changes. This spreadsheet allows you to track the balance as well as the monthly amount and monthly percent change for 20 asset accounts and 15 liability accounts. So as a brief overview, this is the layout. The first section is all of your assets, and it is broken out into non-invested assets, which include all of your cash and your physical assets, and then your invested assets, which include your retirement accounts, and then your taxable or other invested accounts. Under each general category of assets, you have room for 5 accounts. It then provides, in columns BT through BZ, this breakdown of your total assets, where it sums all of your total assets and then shows you the total of just your cash, the total of just your physical assets, and then the total invested, which is the combined retirement and taxable accounts. For your debts or liabilities, this is broken out into 3 categories. It has room for up to 5 credit card accounts, 5 student loans or personal loans, and then 5 other types of accounts. These might be things that are tied to assets, for example, mortgages, car loans, or whatever other types of debts that you want to track. Again, it provides a breakdown of your total liabilities. All of these numbers then feed over here to the very last section, which tells you your net worth, once again displaying your assets and liabilities. Like all things, it tells you how much of an increase or decrease you saw in your net worth as a dollar amount, and then a percentage change, and then it shows you the cumulative change from your very first net worth up till now. There is room for up to 15 years of data. So if you have a lot of back history that you would like to put in here to see your entire progress, you can totally do that up to 15 years. So now that you have an overview of the layout, let's get started with how to set it up. So the first thing you're going to want to do is start in row 4 and update the names of each account that you see here. On the instruction sheet, I do provide a tip that if you do not need all 5 sub-accounts, so let's say you only have 2 cash accounts that you want to track, you're going to want to start naming your accounts from the right going left. So instead of starting to name your accounts with cash account 1, you actually want to start naming them with cash account 5. Let's say you're tracking your savings account and your checking account, and that is it. I recommend you start changing the names with account 5 and then moving left. And now when you hide these first 3 accounts that you no longer need, you can see that between columns P and Q, there is a thicker black line to separate your cash accounts from your physical assets. So this is what you're going to want to do for all of the accounts going across row 4. Change the account names, starting from the right-hand side and moving left.
So for the physical assets, you have a car and a house. You could include a ring if you want.
If you have more than 5 accounts under a single type of asset, for example, let's say that you own 4 other rental properties. Unfortunately, there's only room for 5 accounts, so I recommend combining as much as possible. So perhaps your 4 rental properties, 2 of them are duplexes, combined duplexes, and the other 2 are single units. So you want to follow those same principles for your retirement accounts. If you are a couple and you each have lots of retirement accounts, try to find ways to combine them all into just 5 accounts.
His and her 401ks, his and her IRAs, his pension. If you don't need these last 2, you would just highlight and then hide.
Same thing for taxable, start all the way at the 5th and then just say
Taxable. Here you can track your 529s.
So you're going to want to do the same thing over here for your liabilities. Start on the 5.
Maybe this is your Capital One credit card, your Chase credit card.
And then let's say you have 4 credit cards with Discover. Maybe you combine all 4 into 1. Make sure you are hiding the accounts that you don't need. Do not delete them. And of course, since they are hidden, if you ever add a new asset type, you could unhide those currently unused ones and start tracking it there. So now that that first step is completed, the second step is to update and replace the months in column A, starting with cell A6. Please make sure the first month that you have data for is in this first year one, month one name. Let's say that this person has data starting from January of 2018. Now note, you don't necessarily have to have data for all of your months. Let's say in the past you only tracked your net worth maybe once a year, so you have your starting net worth for January of 2018, but you don't have your net worth data again until January of 2019. That is completely fine.
Or again until January of 2020.
And then starting in January of 2021, you now want to track this every single month. However you want to do it, just start updating your months, and then you can drag the formula all the way down and it will update each row to the next month in the pattern. So now it is time to actually start entering in the balance of each of these accounts for each month. Let's say that the starting balance of their checking account in January of 2018 is $5,000, and it will automatically populate to the $sign. For non-US users of the spreadsheet, I do have some instructions on the overview page for how to change the currency. So in January of 2018, their balance was
5,000. In January of 2019, their balance was 7,000, 8,000. January 2021, 9,000.
So you can see as I update these numbers, the monthly amount change and the monthly percent change update. If the monthly amount change is positive, that cell will turn green. So if the amount change is negative and the percent change is negative, it will show as red. So you're going to want to put in the balance for cash and then your physical assets. When you get to your invested assets, there is a new column in between the balance and then the monthly amount change. And this invest column allows you to track how much you contributed to this account for that month. So let's say the balance in January of 2018 for his pension was $10,000. And in that month as well, based on his paycheck deductions and what his employer matched, he put in $450 into his pension that month. So you're going to want to track the balance and then how much was contributed into that account that month. If you do not want to use this column, you are more than welcome to just leave this as blank or zero, or you can even hide them. But there is a column in the total assets where it will sum up all of those invested columns and tell you how much you managed to put into investments, contributed to investments that month. Now, this should not be the account growth. This should only be what you contributed, or if you would like to also track how much your employer contributed, but this should just be what you added into those assets for that month. This section also shows you the total monthly amount and total monthly percent change for your entire asset. For your liabilities, you're going to do pretty much the same thing, except you must put a minus sign before you enter the number. If you do not put a minus sign, it will consider this as a positive balance instead of a negative balance. So if on all of your Discover cards you owe $6,783, you're going to want to put a negative sign at the beginning. In these columns, the balance will show as a italics, and again, make sure you have that negative sign.
Let's say that in January 2019, you've now paid that down to $4,000.
You can see that your amount change was $2,783. This is green because your balance decreased. If you had increased your debt to, let's say, $5,000, it's going to show as red because now it is more debt. So you're going to want to do this for all of your liabilities. Similarly to the invest column, I also provide a column for all of your account liabilities, a paid off column. This is where you can track how much you paid to that debt that month. It is up to you if you only want to track the principal or if you want to include the total payment with principal plus interest. It is up to you. For this column, don't include a minus. Just type in how much you contributed to pay it off for that month. All of these numbers, like with the assets, will feed over to the total liabilities columns, where it will track your total debt, your total credit card debt, your total student loan, total other debt, and then it will sum up the total amount paid off every single month. You can see in this case that their total debt decreased every single month. So from January of 2018 to January of 2019, their total debt decreased by $7,780 or 13%. These are green and positive because the debt is going down. If the debt increased, say you got a new car loan and that was $40,000. You can see if the debt increases, it's going to show as a negative change and a negative percent change. So all of these numbers feed over to your net worth graph, where it will show you your total net worth for each month. Again, provide you an overview of your total assets and liabilities, and then we'll show you the combined total of how much you invested and paid off that month. And then once again, the monthly amount change and the monthly percent change. The last two columns will show you the cumulative change. So you can see in January of 2021, your cumulative net worth has increased by $77,000 from where you started at negative $21,783 in January of 2018. And then now that we added in that car loan for February of 2021, you can see that cumulatively your net worth is actually decreased by $18,000, which actually decreased your net worth by 83%. So once you enter in all of your data, again, if you have lots of historical data, you could enter all of that in up to 15 years. You can go to your net worth dashboard, and this dashboard comes in two sections. The top section provides an in-depth breakdown for a specific month. So if you come to cell A2 and select the month that you want to look at, we will look at January 2021. It will show you your net worth, again, showing you the cumulative change, your total assets, and then your total liabilities for that month. And then these 6 charts will populate. This first chart shows your asset overview. It's going to show you your assets based on those 3 categories of either cash, invested, or physical assets. The second chart shows your liabilities based on either credit card, student loan, personal loans, or the other liabilities. And then this third chart just shows you the amount and graph of your total debt and total assets. The bottom left chart will show you your assets broken down by each account. You can see your checking made up 10% of your assets, savings 16%, his pension 23.5%, and then their IRAs combined 50%. The liabilities by account will again show you your liabilities based on the specific accounts. 11% of their debt was in their Discover card, and then 89% of their debt was in their private student loans. And then this final chart just shows how much you invested this month and how much you paid off towards debt. So the top section shows you a more in-depth breakdown by month. And again, you can change the month here. So the bottom portion will show you your net worth and your assets and liabilities over time. And it's going to default to include all of the history, but what you're going to want to use are these slicers up here to filter the range of data that it's going to pull back. To show all past months and history up to this current month, you're going to want to use this month slicer, filter by condition, date is before today, and then press OK. And that's going to show you, like I mentioned, all of the history up to the day that you run it. So you can see it shows my net worth from January 2018 and then February 2021. And it will also show my assets and liabilities over time. So that is the month slicer. To show only certain years, you're going to use the year slicer, filter by values, clear, and then select the year that you want to see. Let's focus on 2021 for this case. It's going to pull back all of the data from that year. We only have data entered in for 2 of those months, but it shows you the entire year at a glance. But if you don't change the ranges on these slicers, this is just what it's going to show you by default. You can add more charts on top of this dashboard or create a new page and add more charts on top of that. The reason I really like this net worth monthly changes is personally, I think it allows you to provide a lot of information, which you can then use to build even more in-depth and detailed charts. So that includes the overview of the net worth monthly changes, spreadsheet, and the net worth dashboard. Next, we're going to look at the miscellaneous and passive income tracker. Once again, this is a version of a spreadsheet that I use myself. How it works is I give you 8 major types of income or passive income that you want to track. And then under each of those types, I give you up to 10 subtypes. Provide you all 12 months, and then columns P through T show the quarterly totals and then the year-to-date total. The way that you're going to want to use this is similar to the net worth monthly changes. The first thing you're going to want to do is update the major subtype names in column A. Here is my personal tip. If you are going to use this to track your investment gains or returns as part of your passive income, I recommend putting your investment gains or returns in type 1, so investments. The reason I recommend this is because at the bottom of this spreadsheet, down here on row 92, you can see this total no type 1, this will calculate the sum of all of the income that you enter in the entire spreadsheet minus or not including the income entered into first section. Personally, I like to see a total including my gains and losses for the month in my investments and then a total not including that. I recommend you put whatever income that you want to track, but you want to see a total with it and then a total without it. I recommend you put that in that first type. So let's do a demo of this.
This type is my first type. My type 2 is going to be the referral links, the affiliate links, credit card, rewards, that will be side hustle.
And then those are the only types I need. So what I can do then is hide the rest of these columns. So hide types 6 through 8, hide rows. Now I'm going to update the subtypes. Once again, just like the net worth monthly changes, I recommend you actually start from the bottom and then move up because the bottom line has black border to just separate the subtype from the total.
I have my IRA, my HSA, my 401k, and then taxable too.
And that's everything. Start from the bottom and then hide the rest of these subtypes since you no longer need them. Same thing here.
1 and 2, 3, and then hide.
Once you have your general types done and then your subtypes under each of those, you can just enter in your income as you receive it. So let's say for January, you had investment gains of $400 there, $340 here, $1,000 there, and then you had no investment gains in your HSA or IRA. You can see that there's a total row for each subcategory for each month. So January 2021, in just investments alone, I saw $1,700 in investment gains. Whatever your numbers are, you would put those all in here. At the bottom, the total for the month is calculated. Row 91 shows the year-to-date running totals, and then row 92, like we talked about, shows everything minus this first section up here in purple. Rows 93 through 98, you can also update 5 more lines for you to track other statistics that might not be income but are still important for that month. Some of the things that I track here include the number of days that I invested into the market that month. So again, if you don't need any of this, you can just hide those rows. And then again, here are the quarterly results and then the year to date as well. Now we will talk about the last 2 spreadsheets, and these 2 are connected. So this is the investing log. This is just a very simple way for you to track all of your investing activity through a variety of accounts. So your first step is going to come over to column K and change the account names listed here. The reason you need to do this is because these feed into the drop-down menu that you can choose for column B. So I give you up to 15 accounts, but you don't need to use them all.
So I should say this is the 401k, HSA, taxable brokerage, 529, and the IRA.
And then for the rest of these, just highlight the specific cell and then clear or delete those out. And then the second step is to come down to rows 16 through 30 and add additional or edit existing asset types. I pre-populate several, I think, of the most popular asset types, but if you want to change up the names of these, you definitely can. And then I give you empty spaces for another 6 types of assets. Say you don't need any of these others, you would just delete those out. And then what you're going to want to do is hide columns J through K. Do not delete them, just hide them. Now here's an example of how you would actually use the log. Let's say that on February 25th, 2021, in your taxable account, you bought, so for in D, you're going to put the ticker of the either individual stock, ETF, or fund that you purchased. So let's say you purchased BTI. Column E is going to populate based on the ticker. This is just a lookup for Google Finance. If you don't want to see it, you can just hide it. And then you're going to select the asset type. So VTI is a total US stock. Then you can put in the quantity of shares that you bought. So let's say you bought 3 of them, and then the price of one of those individual shares at the action. So for simplicity, let's say the price of each share was $100. Then this total transaction column here will populate based on what you put in columns G and H. Now let's say on the 26th, again in your taxable account, you sold VTI. Let's say you sold 0.5 shares and the price of 1 share was $150. You can see since this was a sell, it's going to show as a negative $75. So this is good to just be able to provide you a quick way to track your activity across multiple different accounts. But what this also does is feeds over into the investing matrix here. If if you read it across, this will tell you how much you've invested in each one of your account names. If you read the matrix down, it will tell you how much you invested in each type of your asset. The only thing that you need to do for this investing log is in the gray cells, enter in the goal dollar amount that you want to put into that either account or asset type. So if you're looking across up here, you're going to want to enter in how much money you are projecting or trying to invest into that asset type for that year. So let's say in US stocks, you were planning to do $5,000, international stocks, you're planning to do $5,000, and in bonds, you're planning to do $5,000. And then you're also going to want to put the amount that you are looking to contribute per account. You're going to look to do $5,000 in your 401k, $1,000 in your taxable account, $4,000 in your HSA, and then $2,500 both in your IRA and your 429. You want to make sure the total for your goals for your accounts and the total for your goals for your asset types both equal each other, which they do. And since you don't need any of these other account names, you can just hide them. And then same thing here, you can hide all of these unneeded asset types. And so now you can see that so far you have contributed $225 in your taxable account, and all of that $225 was in US stocks. This means you still need to contribute $4,775 into US stocks for the year, and you are 4.5% complete towards your $5,000 goal, or 1.5% complete towards your total goal of $15,000. So if we again look at it across, you are 22.5% complete towards your total goal of investing $1,000 in your taxable account, and you still need to fund it by $775. Let's go back to the investing log and enter in more transactions.
Also, the 26 401k at BT Stocks is US stock. About 4 of them at $500 each. About 10 at $60 each.
So now if we go back to the investing matrix, you can see the updated numbers, and then these two charts update based on what is updated here in the investing log. So the left shows you your progress towards funding your account goals, and then the right chart shows you your progress towards your asset type funding goals. If you later decide to add in a new type of asset type that you would like to fund for the year, you can just unhide that column, but you do need to make sure that you update your goal for that asset type across the top. And then you also want to update the goal for your accounts as well. So you see if you add $1,000 into international bonds, you need to make sure you add $1,000 somewhere into your account side as well, so that the totals match each other. This row 3 will show you your allocation percentage based on how much you have said you want to fund per asset. So you can see this allocation is set at 31% US stocks, 31% international, 31 bonds, and then 6% international bonds. The matrix is going to show the net activity. So if you look here in my US stocks, it's showing that I've only contributed or invested $225. And that's because I bought $300 worth of VTI and then sold $75 of it. So if all you have in here is buys, it's just going to show everything you bought or contributed. But if you are selling as well, it's going to show that net activity in that account and in that asset. Okay, I know this video was very long, but hopefully it gave you all of the tips and tricks that you need to successfully use this spreadsheet. And that is going to be everything that I need to cover. If you have purchased the spreadsheet and you have any questions or you need further help, please make sure you reach out to me via the contact information I left on the instant download. Thank you so much for your support. I hope you like this, and you can also leave me feedback so that I can continue to update these in the future to be more useful and intuitive going forward. Once again, if you would like to purchase this yourself, the link is down below. You can also see me use these spreadsheets in my own monthly net worth and investment updates that I post on my channel. So please subscribe, and you can follow me over on Instagram at ZNELfinance for more of my financial journey. As always, I hope you are staying safe and healthy and that you have a good day.